What's up, guys? It's your boys Wokey back out with some more of the Chris Watts, but centralized and targeted on Nicole Kessinger. We're going to be taking a look at two other women that pretty much had a similar instance like NK. They received life in prison, did not commit murder, but caused a murder. Like NK. Both got life sentences, but NK runs free. Why? We're going to take a look at all that right now. So with that being said, grab a chair, get comfortable. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting that wiper icon down at the bottom right. Hit the bell icon next to it. So when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that I've posted that video. And then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, thank you guys so very much for that continued love and support. And with that being said, let's get into the video. Now, obviously, if you guys have not been following my channel for quite a long time and you're new here, thank you very much for coming in. But we already know a lot when it comes to Nicole Kessinger, her involvement, why she's like one of the top 10 most hated women in all of pretty much the world lately. Because this case has gone on for 6 years now, where people would like to have justice, including myself, because they feel that NK was involved in some shape or form. Now, looking at this, you guys can see this is one of the things I've been watching lately. And these two people, Miss Amber Wright and the Hiccup Girl, she was on social media, Miss Jennifer May, however you pronounce it, both were people that did not commit murder. These two, we can't watch them. I'll post the links in the description so you guys can watch these cases. But they were ones that either lured them in or gave them an incentive to commit murder. One of them was not even, I do believe when I watched both of these, because I watched both of them, they both were not there. They just kind of hinted towards it or played some part in the murders. They deleted messages, they hid things, they were very secretive about what had happened, like somebody else. But their evidence, the interrogators were very hard on them. They were on them like hawks. These two cases of Amber Wright and Jennifer May being those murders, they're not even murders. I don't even think you can classify them. Well, they are murders because they caused the murder of somebody, where NK has caused the murder of somebody. Yeah, she might have not, like, you do things in life that could cause a ripple effect. And going into a relationship where you know that person's married, you know that person has that family, she knew all of this, so she knew what she was risking by getting into this. I mean, the last thing that we want to know or find out is that they were murdered, which Chris murdered his family. Did NK probably think that was going to happen? No. Did she try to stop it? No. Did she play a part in it? We don't know. Why? Because they won't question her. The D has literally said she's hampered the investigation by deleting messages, trying to break her SIM card. She caused a problem with getting information. She came forward at her own volition. She came forward, but she never really answered the detective's questions. So that's why I wanted to show you these two cases of these two individuals. Cases that I've been watching and going over for quite some time, but we can't watch True Crime Central because it is it's a copyrighted channel and I don't want to get in trouble. So, Piers Morgan obviously does his interviews with them and asks them questions and so forth like that. I would really love to see Piers Morgan interview Nicole Kessinger. There are people that don't like him. I understand. There's people that do like him. Don't like him. I understand. I just like his interview. He's very bold. He has no filter. He's going to tell it like it is. And I just enjoy the interviews that he has. And the one on Amber Wright that I watched a couple days ago, and this one of Jennifer May, definitely I was thinking about NK when I was watching them. I'm like, how are these girls? This girl, Jennifer Mee, she was going to go on a date with this gentleman, kind of summarize the conversation. She was going to go on a date with somebody, but somehow they were going to instead rob him, that she had a couple of acquaintances that actually did cause or did murder the gentleman. And she played the part of setting it up. And I thought of NK. We don't have proof that NK set it up, but there's things that make us believe that when she goes Shanann, when she sits there and why? Like the amount of acting that woman did in those interrogations was flabbergasting. Like they believed, or those two individuals that were interviewing her believed it, and they just went with it. I just don't get it. Watching her interviews makes me I was muted this whole time. I apologize. I would like to continue going on from where we were, looking at those two other cases and what kind of compelling similarities that was involved, as in the wedding dresses that she was looking at, sand dunes, the lazy dog. She was involved in the case, and yet she runs free because she pretty much caused that murder to happen. So, and from those that have been asking me to do part 2 on this Summer of Lies from Miss Michelle After Dark, make sure you guys go over there, give her some love by subscribing, commenting, liking, and sharing. Definitely give her the love. And with that being said, let's get into her video of part 2, Summer of Lies, to continue off where you guys wanted.
Hi everyone, I hope you're well. It's Michelle here with another Chris Watts video. This is part 2 of the Summer of Lies investigating NK. In part 1, I'll leave a link to that in the description and in the cards above, we looked at meeting the information available in the discovery and the supplementary files that Nikki did know that Chris was married early on in their relationship. Whether Chris told her that they were splitting up and it's Chris's lie and Nikki's been played, I suspect that's the case, because I think Chris played everybody off against each other. But in this video, we're going to go to the end of July and we're going to take the timeline up to the day of the murders. I'll do part 3 in a few days' time, where I'll discuss watch later the day of the murders and the days shortly after. After which time, this series will be dedicated to going through NK's interviews with law enforcement. According to the discovery on page 1898, at 5:30 a.m, they often made early morning calls to each other, just to, I guess, check in, say hello. Shanann was in North Carolina at this time. Shanann rang Chris whilst he was speaking to Shanann.
Oh, you mean when you told Chris to fix his marriage, and when he was over there in North Carolina, you were giving him nude photos, selfies, and places to possibly move to a different location, but yet you wanted him to fix his marriage.
On the phone, Watts transferred a nude selfie of NK into his secret calculator app. So even when he was speaking to Shanann, he was still obsessed with NK. He searched for the lazy dog in Erie. But then on July the 28th and 29th, this is where they went camping to the Great Sand Dunes. They went in NK's Toyota and they camped at the Zapata Falls campsite. They rented sandboards.
He's never
gone
camping before.
Dunes. They bought ice and firewood.
That he bought.
So during that day, Chris did some searches and took a lot of photographs. Shanann tried to call him throughout the afternoon.
A couple times.
And he
Didn't
did
answer.
try to call her back. And then he took assorted photographs that are available in the Discovery supplementary files. One of these, NK was heard saying, "Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I'm having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me. I'm glad you're having a blast."
Gross.
So Chris continued to take photographs. He told Shanann he was going on a...
See, he was giving her truth, but in the lies. So he was finishing hiking, packing up and heading home, but yet he did it with another woman.
hike. More transferring of images to the secret calculator app.
Gross.
June the 30th, as this was the day before Chris flew out to North Carolina.
Gross.
Creepy giggles. More calling with the creepy giggles on the voicemail.
Hi. It's me.
I hope that haunts her forever.
I guess just call me back when you have a chance. Bye.
And then
At 6:30
she's got badges on her swimsuit like she's 6.
on this
Gross.
day, according to the Discovery page 1901, Chris searched Google for songs by a reggae band named Through the Roots, and then lyrics to the song Down to Earth. When I'm around you, I can feel peace. If I'm ever cold, I can count on you to heat me up with your presence. At the lowest level, you can make me feel like I'm sky high. When I'm with you, I can see the road, girl, not just a gravel one we're travelling on, girl. And I'm betting it's going to be a wild ride, but I promise that I'm going to be there by your side. I think we got another memory in the making. And then he searched for love letters, which is interesting because he actually wrote Nikki a love letter, so he had to research what to say. Nikki,
Oh,
wow, where do I even start? The first day I saw you, you took my breath away. The first day I had the guts to talk to you, I got lost in those stunning green eyes. The first day we hung out in the park together, I knew I was addicted. The first time we kissed, I knew I had the most amazing something, an electric woman ever. We have a lot of firsts capitalised together because Nikki was
First butt stuff, first three-way, first murder, first being stupid. Like the list goes on. I know I'm being a child about this part, but am I?
concerned, shall we say. She said this in text to her friend Charlotte, and clearly she'd said it to Chris as well, although that isn't documented in the Discovery, but clearly she did, because she always felt second best, and she wanted to be the person to give him a son. Was there pressure there for Chris to get rid of his baby son, currently growing inside Shanann's belly? I want to keep having all of them with you all night. And then we've got a card as well with some song lyrics on it.
Like
and then the
he's
day
6.
after that, July the 31st, Chris leaves for North Carolina. So it's an early start for him. And he began transferring a mass of assorted images at 4:08 a.m. from the sand dunes. 2 videos from the trip.
But yeah, he wants out.
Both videos were shot by Watts as Nikki surfed down the sand dune, and he made the comment, "So damn sexy." He also deleted her contact from his personal phone. So was that so Shanann wouldn't find it, or was that because he intended, as he said he was going to do to Nikki, he said he was going to try and work things out with Shanann during his trip to North Carolina. Okay. I don't believe that at all, because why would he write her a love letter and send her a card with loving things in it if he was planning to leave her and make it up with Shanann? So I don't believe he had ever intended to do that. So August the 2nd, more transfers to the secret calculator app, and the officer who compiled this, I think, was on the money here. I'm certain what's communicated.
How much you want to bet Miss Kissinger was not only sending him to Chris, but she was also sending him to Jim and other people? Because I guarantee they were just not for Watts. They were probably ones that she's done multiple men.
Far more
I ain't stupid.
with NK than was reflected in his phone data. Perhaps facilitated through the secret calculator application, it became apparent he was receiving assorted nude images that she was taking by herself and sending, which then he stashed in the application to prevent Shanann from seeing them. So here's my question that I'm sure many people ask. How was she sending him those messages? So was there a messenger service on the secret calculator app? Was that ever investigated? I don't know what app it was, so I can't investigate it.
Nicole Kessinger and Chris both said that they not only talked through TikTok, or not TikTok, but through text messaging and through Facebook. They also talked through other means, email, Skype, who knows, Snapchat.
Myself, or else I would. Does anybody know what the app was called? I can have a look. I can put it on my phone and see what the facilities are. So was there a messenger service there? Also, other social media. It becomes clear later on, that'll be in the next part, that she is using social media. But she tells Kevin Kovac during an interview that she doesn't have social media. She hasn't used social media for a long time. But she was using social media. So the fact that Chris deleted his Facebook on the weekend before the murders, so was that because there was messages in his Facebook that he didn't want anyone to see? He also logged into Instagram, Snapchat. So he had social media. Did she?
He did.
Were these social media?
I think she did, but I don't think anybody messaged her because she probably blocked it where she only is able to look at her Facebook and the people that she selects to see her Facebook. But other than that, I don't think anybody is able to see her Facebook. She knows what she was doing. But Chris deleted his Facebook because he was getting ready to be caught and didn't want it to happen yet.
Media apps, were they investigated? It's not said in the discovery that they were. We're getting some text, we're getting some phone call times mentioned and who rang, but we're not getting anything else. Like, we've got to get some web searches. So more transfers to the secret calculator, even more on August the 3rd. So that the entire week, right,
he was
getting
there.
Messages, like these images of her.
From her.
So how
still.
would they being transferred? Obviously via the secret app.
Nicole Kessinger wants him to fix his marriage, but yet she's sending a whole bunch of naked pictures and all that stuff to him still.
August the 4th, for over 2 hours, NK searched for wedding dresses. She was planning to marry him. She was planning this beautiful life. Back in June, she believed that Chris and Shanann had. She was jealous. She wanted Shanann's life. And then, 2:10, she searched for Chris and Shanann's Facebook accounts. So she was checking up on them. She was checking up on what pictures were being posted. She was jealous. She was the jealous lover. She had no intention of letting Chris go, saying you've got to work things out with your wife. Really, she was fishing for compliments. Like, no, I don't want to go back to Shanann. I love you. I want to marry you. I want my life to be with you. You can just imagine it, can't you? Whether it was lies or not, that's what she was hearing. So why didn't she just leave? She wasn't invested in him. She didn't have children with him. She didn't even have a long-term relationship with him. So why didn't she just leave? Because she wanted him. She wanted the beautiful life.
She was the aggressor.
More images. Then on August the 7th, the Watts family fly back to Colorado. During an interview with agent Kevin Kovac, we'll get to the interviews in future parts, NK admits sending a photo of Chris to Charlotte during a text conversation on August the 7th.
I bet you
During
did.
that same conversation, comments were made that Chris had children. Charlotte had not made the connection that Chris was the person involved in the case. During this text conversation, she says Watts has a lot to take care of. She's referring to him being a father, owning a home and having children. She also can tell that Chris is all about his kids. She said that at the time their relationship, she was very positive about.
Oh, so we're led to believe, because that's why I still think somebody else did it.
Chris and was enjoying their relationship. But then she said she wasn't sure he was the one she was going to spend her life with. Well, why was she searching for wedding dresses if she wasn't certain? Was she having an affair with someone else and searching the wedding dresses for them?
I think so.
She's lying. She's either lying or very, very, very confused. She talked about having her own life with a man who has not been married and doesn't have kids. That's all the more reason to permanently get rid of his wife and kids. I'm sure that's something that crossed Agent Kobach's mind. She said this conversation was exclusive to her and Charlotte, and she never talked with Watts or anybody else about this information. You, dear listener, make your own judgment on that. August the 8th, Chris returns to work. He stops at the Toyota dealership to pick up an order of touch-up paint that she says that she'd ordered a while ago. He took the paint to her house, and then 7:25 on the day, she searched Google on topics relating to marrying your mistress. Day after, August the 9th, he transferred more images and some semi-nude selfies into his secret calculator app, so things are really hotting up. Whatever she's saying about not sure that she wants to spend her life with him, well, she's sure enough searching a lot of things about marriage. So, nonsense. She was head over heels, or she was a game player. Again, you choose. Friday, August the 10th, Shanann flies to Arizona for her last Thrive conference in life, and more transfers of images. Watts transferred the video, thanking him for their trip to the Great Sand Dunes, into his secret calculator app. And then, August the 11th, this was the day of the lazy dog. So at 9:30, in anticipation of her evening with Watts, this is 9:30 in the morning, Nikki did some sexy web searches. This was when Chris had a babysitter, McKenna Lindstrom. So I think she was like 16. She babysat for Bella and Celeste. Shanann knew about this, but she believed he was going to the Rockies game. So anyway,
he should have gone there.
To NK's home in his Lexus. They went to the Lazy Dog Bar in Westminster. They chose to leave the location because they didn't like the menu. And they went to another Lazy Dog in Erie. Well, why did they drive all the way up to Erie? Because Erie's like north of Westminster. Westminster's close to where Nikki lives. So why didn't they just go to another eatery in Westminster? Why did they drive all the way back to Erie, which is north, actually very near Frederick? Strange. No CCTV, by the way, of them being at a Lazy Dog in Erie. Because apparently the CCTV, according to the police, didn't record. So they drove NK's Toyota to both locations. After having a meal at the second Lazy Dog, they returned to NK's home, and then Chris drove back in the Lexus. So NK recalled Chris always paying for their meals when they were out on dates. He paid for everything using Anadarko gift cards so that, you know, the payments wouldn't be on bank statements. But on August the 11th, he paid for their meal with a credit card. During this time, he also made it clear he was filing for divorce with Shanann. She thought it was unusual for Chris to pay with a credit card. He's always used gift cards.
He didn't care no more.
But she believed that Chris had nothing to hide anymore because he was getting a divorce. So was he using this credit card as a demonstration to tell NK that he didn't care. He didn't care what Shanann thought. He was breaking bonds. He was leaving. Or did he not care because he knew that Shanann's life was shortly going to come to an end?
That one.
I don't know. Then on page 945, so she says that they talked about he didn't have money for a deposit on an apartment.
He spent it all on you, Nicole.
He was concerned about money. Well, if he got a divorce, he'd be absolutely strapped for cash.
I bet he tried getting to move in with Nicole also.
So another incentive for him not to get a divorce. So discussion about money there. These are just the searches before the Lazy Dog outing. Shanann texts McKenna Lindstrom if the girls were in bed yet. Shanann was checking up. She searched Google for the score of the Rockies game. She's obviously going to use this to question Chris on what time the Rocky game got over. At 10 p.m, Chris told Jeremy that he'll be home in 20 minutes. So he must have been on his way home at that point. But just after he left, NK searched the internet for topics like Chris Watts, Shanann Watts, Ronnie Watts, and 2825 Saratoga Trail. Even though in one of the interviews with Agent Kobach, we'll get there, she said she didn't know the address, but yet she searched for it.
On the 11th.
Why did she search for Ronnie Watts?
Yeah.
I think Chris had deleted his Facebook at that time, so was she using Ronnie's profile to see whether Chris was commenting? I don't know. What's the relationship there? Very strange.
No good.
Very strange indeed. But we'll leave it there for today. We're good.
All right, so with that being said, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts on the wedding dresses, the sand dunes, and the lazy dog that we just kind of watched with Michelle After Dark. Your little red flags in between and so forth. But even in the beginning when we talked about those two other cases, do you see, like, for the people that might be on the fence about NK, do you see that people are not involved, or they set like a little stone in the water and the ripples just kept happening and somebody got murdered and now they are behind bars for life? Why doesn't NK get to be behind bars for her involvement and the destruction of a family? I think she should be charged for it. Needless to say, not life, but she should be doing at least 10, 15 years. I'm just saying, because they're not here anymore because of her. Again, I thank you guys for being here. Please take care. Be safe. As always, keep nerding on it, and we will see you guys in the next video.